Good morning, everybody. It's Mr. Mike with the Mechanicsburg Learning Center with another episode of Dino-A-Day. This is episode number 17. We have a very, very exotic animal to talk about today. So exotic that we don't even have a model of it. It's rather new, and I suspect that the people that would make the model might look at this and say, no kid is ever going to buy a model of this particular animal. So what are we doing? Well, you know what the situation is. We're making lemonade, right? Got it? Why is everybody so upset? Well, for lots of reasons. Everybody's, kind of burrowed in and whisked away, hidden away, and no one's getting their celery. So it's tough to make ends meet when no one's getting a celery. First of all, let's talk about the animal. It's called Incisivosaurus, and if you are any kind of a dentist or dentist wannabe, or you know anything about animals at all, they have incisors. Incisivosaurus is a lizard named incisor lizard. Pretty simple. So it had some very interesting characteristics. It lived about 128 to maybe 125 million years ago. It was discovered in 2002 in China. It's not a big animal. It's only about 3 feet long, and its skull, its little teeny tiny skull, was only about 4 inches. 4 inches long. Very delicate skull. Very lucky that it was preserved at all. It's an oviraptorid, which is a very interesting animal too that we'll talk about on another episode. Oviraptor was covered in feathers, had a beak, had a couple of teeth. Very strange looking animal, about the size of a deranged turkey. So it was an oviraptorid, but it was smaller. And at this point, we're not even sure if it's its own unique genus. It may belong to a it's always tough to pronounce this. Everybody knows Archaeopteryx, but then they go and put P-R-O-T in front of it, so it would be pronounced Protarchteopteryx. So Protarchteopteryx, we believe, it may be the same genus, may be the same animal, but we're not sure. And right now they believe they're unique enough that they're calling them two separate animals. But at some point in the future, we may change the name of Incisivosaurus to Protarchteopteryx. So, what do we know about Protarchteopteryx? And what do we know about this bad boy called the Incisivosaurus? Well, of course, the first thing you can see, if you look really closely, are these things. It had buck teeth. It had teeth sticking out that kind of made it look a little silly. If you look at this picture of the animal, you get what I mean. I'll hold it really close so you can get a good look at it. Look at that mouth. It does look a little silly, but that's the way it was made. And if you look at the skull right here, there, you can really get a look at those front teeth. Notice this too. It had a very large opening in its bottom, what they would describe as a very delicate lower jaw. But it had this opening called a fenestra, which is pretty large, actually. So there you can see what this thing looked like. And there, once again, you get a look at Incisivosaurus in all its glory. Probably was covered in feathers. They didn't really discover a whole lot of the rest of the animal. Really, they only discovered its skull. And they're basing the rest of the animal on oviraptorids and the Protarchteopteryx. So, let me read you the story where the ink is still drying. The story I wrote last night. As I said, we're making lemonade. So I've taken the time to write some brand new dino poems, what I call fact-packed dino rhymes. Once again, I want to thank you guys for sharing these videos. Thank you so much. And we're going to do a drawing here in just a minute for what we did yesterday, a very special contest that was held. We thank the Mechanicsburg Learning Center for making this possible, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for sharing. So this is my brand new original poem called Incisivosaurus that has not been heard by any other human. The world has seen some dinosaurs that force your brain to pause. Some had impressive bony crests, some had enormous jaws. Some had fantastic features that were just beyond belief. This dino's one distinctive trait, a pair of 2 buck teeth. Incisivosaurus, its name implies, had teeth you'd never miss. It looked a bit cartoonish, and you should avoid its kiss. Its front teeth stuck out proudly like a beaver or a shrew. In back it had some leaf-shaped teeth with which it liked to chew. The teeth have caused confusion as to what it chose to eat. We think it would prefer the plants, but sometimes try some meat. The species as a whole could be equipped with modest beaks, and since it likely loved to chew, it had to have some cheeks. New evidence that vegetation was its favorite meal? Its stomach held some gastroliths. So here now is the deal. The animal would snap up plants and munch on them a bit, then swallow and transport them to the place those rocks would sit. The gastroliths would pulverize the plants into a pulp, and this is how the beast would treat whatever it would gulp. It likely had a feathered coat, just not enough to fly. Its feathers may have warmed it and helped catch the lady's eye. Incisivosaurus, I have to say, was not a hefty brute. A little over 3 feet long, it's rather small and cute. For me, the size of dinosaurs has never been the rule to what I find so interesting and what I think is cool. I think that everything extinct holds something we can learn, and even if it's dead and gone, we still should show concern. Their bones possess intriguing facts that still somehow relay essential, useful lessons that are relevant today. The Incisivosaurus, a new poem by Mr. Mike, brought to you by the Mechanicsburg Learning Center. Thanks again for sharing the videos. Thanks again for subscribing to my YouTube page. And on that note, we will do a drawing from our contest yesterday. Here's the bunch of folks that went to the trouble of subscribing to my YouTube page and also sharing our video from yesterday. And the name that will be drawn will win a beautiful, brand new, still in a package, Stegosaurus, as well as their choice of one of my Dinorific poetry books. By the way, I want to show you this because I'm very excited. Do you know how difficult it is to show you something that's backwards because the camera is twisted the way it is? Well, here we go, folks. The logo in its full glory, printed backwards so that you could see it the right way. And now it's time for the drawing. I wish I had a drummer here that could draw it. Let me see if I have one. Get it down to 1. There, it's 1, okay? Today's winner. The way you entered the contest was that you shared this video from yesterday all about the Dinorific Scientific Name Game, or you went on to my YouTube page and subscribed, which is Mr. Mike Sgrignoli on YouTube. Today's winner, Miranda Fusco. Miranda, congratulations. You've won your very own, brand new Stegosaurus model, as well as your choice of an autographed copy of the Dinorific Poetry books by Mr. Mike. Until tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we will do it again, we'll learn about a new dinosaur. And remember, Incisivosaurus. How can you forget that one? We'll learn about a new one tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Mr. Mike from the Mechanicsburg Learning Center saying, see you tomorrow. And remember, when life hands you these, make sure you get some of it. No. Make lemonade. See ya.